Hello, eighth grade. Happy Thursday. I loved seeing some of you yesterday in our Google meeting. If you weren't able to come, please try to come next week, next Wednesday at 2. I just want to see you guys and, check in. So, we are going to talk today about the Monroe Doctrine, and I'm going to do this a little bit differently today than just showing you slides. A, for my sanity, and B, for yours. So, that being said, I'm going to show you a Google slide presentation here and then kind of split screening it with a Google Doc that goes along with it. That, like, if we were in class, you would be filling this out, but I'm kind of showing the teacher edition one so you get the point. And you'll have access to this for your assignment for today. But your assignment's not going to be, it will be a Google form, but it won't be as intense as the other ones have been. So, that being said, I want to start by reviewing some of the events that are leading up to this time of the Monroe Doctrine. So, let me pull this up real quick here. And we'll just get to it. So, in 1793, we did talk about this, the Neutrality Proclamation that Washington states that the U.S. will remain neutral regarding war between Britain and France. So remember that, and then, the nation was kind of divided about that. So if we look at that, like, how is the relationship with the U.S. and foreign countries at that time based off of this? We would be neutral, right? There was no really, we tried to stay as neutral as possible. Then in Washington's farewell address in 1796, he urges the United States to remain neutral in foreign affairs and not to get involved in entangling alliance. So again, the U.S. is remaining neutral. Then the XYZ affair in 1798, which we talked about with John Adams, President Adams, he refused to pay a bribe to France to stop impressments of U.S. sailors, and instead he built up the U.S. Navy. So again, the relationship between us and the foreign countries are still pretty much neutral. However, in the Louisiana Purchase of 1803, President Jefferson purchases Louisiana, we know, from France for $15 million, and that doubles the size of the United States. So that's our relationship there, is we are getting purchases from France, and we were able to do that peacefully. And then the War of 1812, President Madison declares war on Britain because of continued impressment. So here we're actually getting involved with the war, and we're at a war with Britain for the second time. Okay. Now I want to think back to yesterday's, or was it yesterday? Because I can't even remember the day. Tuesday was the Latin American independence, and how all the countries in Latin America were gaining independence from Spain. And they all pretty much freed themselves except for, I believe it wasn't it Puerto Rico and Peru, maybe? But all the other countries had gained their independence from Spain, which makes President Monroe obviously happy, okay, that all these countries are getting independence. So this leads up to the, this is going to take us to the Monroe Doctrine. So I'm going to pull up this video so we can watch this together. Trying to see. Give me just a second. All right. So we're just going to watch this real quick here. It's just kind of a quick overview of what the Monroe document actually said, what it did, and then we are also going to watch another 2-minute one on kind of how the country reacted. So this is a huge thing, and I want to stop here because it says in this speech, he is saying, President Monroe is saying that North and South America can no longer be colonized by any other European nation. Pretty much saying, you guys stay on your side of the world, we will stay on ours, but no more colonizing on our side. Another big thing here is he's saying, stay on your side, and if you don't, that's going to be seen as an attack on the United States. And so this is saying that this is pretty much the U.S. telling the world that we're strong, we're confident, and we need to be respected by all the world. And then one more that I want to show you is...
Build the Panama Canal.
Nope,
JFK
that's not the one I wanted. Was it this one? Guys, I'm sorry. You're bored with me already, I know. I gotta drive you nuts every now and then. It's like we're in class. I can't remember. Yes, it is this one. Alright, guys.
The compromise helped assure Monroe's re-election in 1820. He ran virtually unopposed as the Federalist Party had withered, leaving only the Democratic Republicans. And with the contentious issue of slavery seemingly settled, Monroe used his second term to flex the country's muscle on the international stage.
James Monroe, one of the things that he does is say that the New World and the Old World are two separate worlds.
Monroe Doctrine becomes a centerpiece of American foreign policy. Monroe was saying the Caribbean is our bathtub, we get to play in it. South America, Central America is our sphere of influence.
The Monroe Doctrine would be cited as a precedent by many future presidents. William McKinley used it to justify the Spanish-American War. Theodore Roosevelt used it to build the Panama Canal. JFK would cite it when he blocked Soviet ships from Cuba. It has proven to be one of the longest-lasting legacies of the first presidents.
One reason why Monroe, I think, is not more memorable is because it's tough to think of much of what he ever said that was quotable. Even the doctrine that bears his name was largely the handiwork of his Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams. But James Monroe gave us 8 years of peace and prosperity, and that ought to be judged a success for any president.
I think when you look at the sort of founding era presidents, you can say that they're baseline presidents. Each president had a proving moment, and in one way or another, I think each president proved himself.
In the end, Monroe would leave as Washington, Jefferson, and Madison had. He declined to run for a third term and returned home to his estate in Virginia. It was the end of an era for the American presidency.
As long as the presidency was occupied by someone who had been of that first generation of founders, there was this attachment to the past. The first 5 presidents almost inherited the position as their natural right. Subsequent presidents would have to earn it on their own.
Okay, so that is the Monroe document. Now, what I want to do now, if I can figure this stuff out. Guys, it's seriously like we're in class. I'm just as stupid with technology here than I am just like in class. So what I want to do is on your assignment for today, you're going to be given the different parts of the actual speech. And I want you to think about it and think about what the main idea of each one of these is. So this will be on a Google form for you, and you'll just tell me what the main idea is. What is President Monroe saying in each of these? So I'll go ahead and read the 4 that you're going to do, And then once I'm done with this, you guys can get back in and complete that form and send it off to me, and then you're done for the week. So, okay, so the American continents, by the free and independent condition which they have assumed and maintain, are henceforth not to be considered as subjects for future colonization by any European powers. So what is President Monroe saying here? What is the main idea? The second is we should consider any attempt on their part to extend their system to any portion of this hemisphere as dangerous to our peace and safety. The third one, with the existing colonies or dependencies of any European power, we have not interfered and shall not interfere. And then the last one is, but with the governments who have declared their independence and maintain it, we could not view any action that oppresses them by any European power as a manifestation of an unfriendly disposition toward the United States. So I want you to go back and fill in that form, just telling me what you think each of these sections means. Just put it in your own words. Tell me what President Monroe is trying to state with each of those. Think back to the 2 videos we just watched, and that should help you. As always, any questions, you guys know you can either text me, email me, get a hold of me, however you need to. It was awesome seeing you guys today, and I'm hoping to see all of you again next week. Stay healthy, guys. I miss you. Go to bed. What was our bedtime? 9 p.m. I think I said, or 10. Maybe I'll extend it to 10 o'clock if you're lucky. But be good, be safe. I'll talk to you guys all soon.